Alright, let's take a look here. Desired goal is to reach 2,500 plus. And do more in competitive. Okay. Where how you could focus on better crab tank usage, when to farm, what to watch for while using. Okay. Let's see what we can do then. Alright, let's see what we can do then. So you're the V Splash. It's right behind my text box, of course. So let me move. Probably move the text box down here. Might be a little bit better. So let's do that. Okay. So we are the Splash. I should probably pull my chat up over there so I can pull this up. Okay. So hopefully this should be more accurate now on my end. Okay. So we are the Splash, and we want to focus on our crab mainly. So mostly weapons to beat you. You need to be careful against the tent. Your crab can shred through it, but that's all you can really do against it. Outside of use your mobility, we have the Nova that you should be able to beat, but once you see their inkjet, you need to start to respect it. Pro outranges you, but use your mobility. Burst bombs when needed. Zap. Probably going to paint up for cooler. Just keep in mind on when their cooler is used, because you want to get the most effect out of your crab as possible, and that usually happens right before your opponent's pop cooler, or right after their cooler expires. So things we need to watch for on the other side. Your weapon combos insanely well with everything else on your team, though. Burst bomb can make Jet Welcher a 2-hit weapon. It helps out Stamper, and Nova makes it a 3-shot. Nova is probably going to throw point sensors most of the game, so you need to use those marks to your knowledge about what goes on around you. So build up an early crab to try to take control. I don't hate the crab, but it definitely was in a weirder spot. So I don't hate the crab up here on the plat, but once you drop down below, as you did, this pillar here is fully in your way, and you can't see the far side at all. So you can't really help anything on that side. You saw the two there. You can get the bomb shot, but you can't really help with any more. And now because you're down here, you have the wall on your back. You have this pillar top mid that blocks all your shots. So that forces you to shoot up top there. Maybe you could have got shots across there, but staying up on plat with Crab is probably your better bet. You want to use the high ground to your advantage. Yeah, definitely use your high ground to your advantage, especially on a map like Museum. Because Museum plays a lot like... at least Museum zones, it plays a lot like Scorch zones in many ways. But less extreme, of course. But you can see the comparison with the top mid. Scorch is a lot larger, so you get punished a lot more. With Museum, you have a top mid here that you want to keep control of, and use a high ground to your advantage. So you want to stay up top here and fire down shots, fire down burst bombs, like you were right here. Fire shots, hold the zone, burst bomb them out, and keep them out in the far direction. You saw the Nova here, so you went to drop on them to try to get the kill, but because of that, you end up getting punished for dropping. But now is a good time to build up that crab. Huh. What happened here? Yeah, you said crab, use the high ground. You hit the arm of the spinner. That's unfortunate. But yeah, you need to focus something else and try to paint it right away. And you focused the 10. That's unfortunate. But yeah, no need to take that fight alone, but good positioning to capitalize on that. Good job keeping that high ground. And you jump out because you realize you are in the best position. I look to see what caused you to end up being put in that position. Like up here, you probably could have paint for crab. Like you don't really need to drop. Just paint from behind because you know all of them are in front of you now. You see one here. You see one here. You see the inkjet as well. But you know most of them, if not all of them, are in front of you. There's no need to drop to try to find the pick onto the crap. Yeah, there's no need to drop onto this crap here. Like you saw the crab, so you're like, all right, let's go punish him. But you didn't keep in mind on, oh, there's one there, there's one there, and then there's the crab. You don't know where the fourth is from these few shots, but you can assume that they're going to be around this area as well somewhere. So you could have just used this area to paint up over what they're firing. Try to force the crab to shoot away from zone by throwing burst bombs or getting a crab yourself and crabbing them back. That's also a potential option in that scenario. But especially for me, especially for this map, you want to hold the high ground. So dropping down to the slow ground puts you in a losing fight almost every single time. So you're forced to jump out of that one. Really good jump out, by the way. Realizing your position. You're one down. Yeah. All right. Okay. I don't hate that crab. I don't not like this crab. But before you pop it, you should realize that you're one down. Right here. So would using your crab to retake now be the better option, especially with cooler just being popped too. So your crab won't has as much effect. Because if you get these kills here, they'll be back in like 8 seconds, easy. Like they'll be back in mid in like 8 seconds, compared to something like 12, 15, depending on how fast they're able to respawn. Like, I don't hate this crab, you're able to get 2 off it, but after that, you need to focus zone and neutralize. You have numbers at that point, you need to stop their count where it is. Which you're able to do with the team, but try to get that flip a little bit quicker. And jump back to the high ground. Not bad. Use the high ground, try keep your pain up. Grab when you have advantage. Okay. Look back at this. You saw the one go down? So you're like, alright, this is a good time to crab, which it is. Good job trying to get hits off. Your team should have dropped earlier to try to work with it. Not much you could do about that in solo queue. But in team-based, once your crab goes off, your team needs to move in with it. Which is something out of your control in this scenario. But I don't hate this crab. I actually really like it. But your team just didn't move in with it. But again, keeping the high ground in this scenario though. In this scenario here, you end up dropping. You saw suction, so you know it's the zap, as that's the only weapon with a suction bomb on their side. So you know it's the zap. Your kill speed is about the same. I'm pretty sure. So if I'm wrong about that, please correct me. But you should keep this high ground, force the zap to shoot up, because you also have a burst bomb that you can easily hit them with, and then your main weapon. But you decide to just end up dropping on top of them, and they have help with mines, so they're able to beat you with that fight. I like the skirmish. Try to keep a crab fire elsewhere. Teammate went down, you should try back up out of that a little bit earlier. Yeah, I like this fight. You see the zip, try to take advantage out of it. But once they go down here, you should back up right away. This is a losing battle for you. There's at least 2 members here, if not 3. So you need to get out of that quick, which you're slow to do. Yeah, there was 3 there. Paint for crab. Nice. Can you VOD review mine? Hi, Brian. Brian, if you really want a review, Brian. maybe another time. But we have like 30 plus reviews posted, and we're maybe through like 5 now. Like 5 or 6. So next time. Hey, if you submit it, someone will get to it. I'll guarantee you that. When someone will get to it, I have no idea. Alright. So back to this crab. Let's look back at this crab again. You build crab, but you're at numbers disadvantage here. So you probably want to hold on to it and try and make a team push. Because they're not gonna push into you. Because they're gonna want you to push into them. So when you pop crab, they're just like, alright, let me take cover, let me get out of the way. Because what can you as a crab alone do to them? Crab doesn't shred them back as fast as working with someone else. And when it's only you and the Nova, no one else is going to push up with that crab. So I like the painting for crab part. You probably could have painted a little bit more to keep pressure on the zone from above. But once you pop that crab, now you lose a special. Now you lose a special for retakes when you already have nothing else to work with. Not bad drop. Work with your team. I don't think it was necessary to jump out of that point. Because you had a friend with you. Crab. Okay. Why could we not get any value out of this? Let's see here. Yeah, okay. You used half your time here of your crab to focus on the tent, where there's 3 players over in the corner here. You want to use it to suppress one area where there's multiple people, then suppressing one person. So you're able to adjust to it super late, where it made the crab almost worthless. skirmish around. I like the idea of firing. Try to come out with something, but unfortunately, you went to the wrong player. Good pick. Hang on, try and neutral. Oh. That's a 10 to the face. Yikes. I really like that pick, but you don't need to rush anything right away. Like, once you find that pick, and you realize that there's just a few seconds on the clock, with 26 remaining, or about 36 remaining, and just play for neutral, burst bomb, play neutral. But you try rushing for a cap instead of just playing it slow, and with that rush, the tent's able to peek you right around the corner. So they're gonna hold on to this here. Good drop. Try to work with your team. Again, you rush that a little too quick. Back a little bit more. About 11 seconds. Alright. I like this jump in, kind of needed to make it. You see one person down, you see the tent goes down on the far left. Good place to drop. But again you rush it a bit more. You could have just stayed in this area, try to paint, try to use your main weapon to paint, try to use your burst bombs to paint, poke people out from rushing you. Like, just remember, Splash shouldn't be played as a pure slayer. It should be played as that support weapon that has really strong slaying capability. But in this scenario, instead of holding back, playing a more paint support role that you should have filled at that time, you decide to rush in, and you get met with someone in your face, where because of that person, you end up dying in zone, which makes it even harder for your team to cap as well. And you're not going to be able to cap because you're dying off on top of that. Alright. Okay. So, let's take notes here. So you want to focus on your crab usage and when to paint up for crab. You could basically paint whenever you are on a losing end, but you always want to go towards your objective when you paint. So at the beginning here, why does it keep going too small font? At the beginning here, when you try to paint up for an early crab, that could be a plan you have, and it it works to how you want it. The opening is always map dependent based off your play style. I don't really have much say in that, but afterwards, you still want to leave some paint in the back here, so you still can build up those crabs at a later point when you try to roll out a spawn. So that's something to keep in mind when going for an early crab, especially on that top route. So another thing is placement of crab. Keep high ground. Keep high ground with your crab. You keep the high ground, you get to oversee the entire map. So you can figure out where everyone is. Once you see where everyone is, that's when you can decide if it's best for you to drop down to a lower ground. Like over on the side or early on when you did crab, you saw one person over here, so you pop crab just to get that one person without knowing where everyone else was, which they ended up being all the way over here on the opposite side of the map. So that crab just to try to get one person ended up doing nothing because it forced that person back to their team. So now they have support instead of going after multiple people, where no, where others are able to help you with that fight. And this also goes to, so figure out where opponents are before special. Always smart to do. Always smart to do. Figure out where they are. Figure out if it's a good time to use your special in that point. Like this crab on this side, could have been a good time to use it, but it might have been better to use the crab over on this side of the plot to pressure out that way, compared to on the side that you used it on to try to zone out an area that you effectively already have control over. A lot of the time, it's it's a special that you want to move in with, but it can't be moved in alone. So it's really good at holding ground. But unfortunately, it didn't seem like you were able to have a really strong defensive hold, which if you did at some point, just using crab top mid, and even going on an offensive push, if everyone is down in this bottom area, if you crab top mid and and fire off down that way, that's enough suppression to cap the zone and hold that point, which is very important. The point to hold on the stage goes right in front of this wall here. If you can hold that area, you're able to win on this map. And then we have advantage state. And by advantage state, I mean like numbers advantage or map control. The things in that scenario that can lean in your favor, where you want to figure out how you could take control and you use that state of advantage to your advantage rather than just sitting back on it. So leads to numbers numbers advantage, positioning. And anything that can give you an advantage, even even if it's a slight advantage in your favor. So when using a crab in this advantage state here, if you have really good positioning, like if you're able to if you have control and crab top mid, even if you're one or two down, you still lock out this entire sightline. Like you still lock out that entire sightline with crab. So it forces people to slow down their fight. The big thing with crab is that it can control how people fight. So if you can control this area and force your opponents to slow down, that gives you the advantage even if your numbers are lower. Just want to make sure that there are others around you where using that crab is still helpful at holding people off, just in case someone does decide to try and rush you. Then and then teammate awareness. teammate awareness. If you're able to be aware on where your teammates are and what fights you should and shouldn't take, you want to use those to your advantage. So if you do see like two people over in this area, in this bottom area, and this is like a 2v3 in your losing favor, why don't you try to come join them and make it a 3v3, try to win the team fight together. Situations like that. So I think that's it for the most part. Let's let this play through at 2x speed. But yeah, you were backed up for most of the game, and in this scenario where you did pop crab, you popped it over here, which forced everyone back to that side. So the crab didn't really, it wasn't used to find anything or hold space you already had. You try to use it for kills rather than to hold ground. Especially with this ground already, you hold naturally. I should probably note that down. Natural ground in openings. Yeah, another advantage, say you lose a member, so you use crab to try to move in, but you don't have anything to push up with it. Try to hold that ground, or to try to hold the ground that you try to create. don't think there is anything else here to cover. I think that covers most of it. Yeah. That covers most of it. These results. 4 and 7, okay. Yeah, not bad paint. Just maybe just play smarter with how you move in and keep that high ground advantage with making your pushes to take fights. I think that's the biggest thing to cover. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how much you improve off this. Definitely some of these easier than others, but I'm definitely interested to see improvement.